How has saying you can't do that contributed to your own upset and challenges? So late last year, I stopped drinking, and I did it largely as an experiment to see if my health, my migraines would go away, my digestive issues would go away, and it really actually helped. I was surprised and a little bit dismayed, if I'm being honest, that that was what was causing many of my issues. I'm clear-headed, I'm less down, I'm doing a lot better, and I'm grateful for all of those improvements. Initially, it was a little uncomfortable because you're going out to dinner with friends, and one of the ways that you've always connected was over a drink, or you have friends over to the house, and it used to be that you would mix them up a drink or you'd offer them a beer, and that was just socially the way it was. So navigating that shift in the beginning was a little bit uncomfortable and different, and yet it's all good. And people quickly understood, and some people actually joined the bandwagon and were like, I've had some digestive issues, or I've had headaches, and I wonder if that's what's causing those too. So I inspired others, and it opened up conversation, which was absolutely fantastic and wonderful. I will admit that there have been times that I've had a little craving. It would be really nice to just sit down and have that drink, and the relaxing. My brain had associated letting go, releasing, and relaxing with having that drink. And so there were times where I'd had a stressful day and my brain would automatically think, oh, we'll just have a drink. No, the physical repercussions from having that and going back to drinking were not something that I wanted to do. So I would have a root beer, or I'd have a different mocktail that would satisfy that craving. I was recently in this social setting that I had been in for several days, and it was great. I chose to be in that setting. I chose to connect with everybody with every moment that I had. My sleep schedule suffered, my food suffered a little bit, and yet I continued to choose the group aspect over my own health because I knew that this time was limited and that I would need to get through it, that I needed to connect in that moment, and that I would be okay later. The thing was that towards the end of our time together, we went to dinner, and it was very loud and it was very overwhelming, and there had been a tiny little miscommunication, and that miscommunication was contributing to my stress and upset, and I was reading the room, which I always do, and checking in on everyone else, making sure that they were okay while my reserves were constantly going down. And I finally had to stop myself and advocate and just kind of quietly mention to my husband, hey, this is what's going on. This is where I'm at. Let's settle this really quick and move forward. And on the one hand, I did it as quietly and discreetly as I could in this very loud space. On the other hand, it introduced a little bit of discomfort to the group because they knew that something was off with me and they were concerned. And yet I didn't necessarily want to announce to everyone why I was struggling in that moment. So quickly resolved. We had a little conversation. It was very short, quickly resolved. And that meant that we could go back to the group setting and not have an issue. And I sat there and I found myself holding the drink menu. And I was looking at all these drinks that they had, and none of their pre-mixed drinks appealed to me, and yet I was holding on to this drink menu, and my brain and body were so tense and wound up, and I just kept thinking, one drink won't hurt. It won't undo everything that I've done. It won't mess me up. It won't be horrible to feel a little off for the rest of the evening because I decided to do that. It's okay. You can have a drink. And then this other part of me was saying, no, you cannot have a drink. You're not drinking. You feel better. Stop saying that you can. Stop tempting yourself with what's out there and just stick to it. You're fine. I ended up ordering a martini. Just ordering it made me feel instantly better. My whole body, my muscles relaxed a little, and I could feel the stress melting away just from ordering this drink. When it arrived, it just sat there. I didn't need it. Just having it sit there, just giving myself permission to do that, to order one, meant that I felt better. I did have one sip, and I found, nope, I don't need it. And somebody else at the table adopted the drink and enjoyed that. And the rest of the evening was absolutely delightful and wonderful, all because I chose to say, it's okay, you can have that. So I'd like to preface some of this with the fact that I stopped drinking because it was harming me physically. I wasn't necessarily addicted to alcohol. I recognized how it was affecting me physically. Those who are having challenges with alcoholism, I highly encourage you to find what works for you, find the help that you need. And this one sip may be very detrimental to you. You have to find what works for you and what's okay. This experience left me mulling over comfort and self-care, soothing moments, thoughts, experiences, things that we end up denying ourselves, things that we end up saying, you cannot have that, it is not right, it's against the rules right now. How many times have we, for example, maybe started eating healthier? We decide we need to be healthier. So whether we're adding calories so that we can add a little bit of weight, or removing calories so that we can have less, or increasing our protein so that we can build muscle, whatever it is, you've decided that you're going to shift your eating habits so that you can be healthier for you. And that means that you're denying all of these other things along the way. And sometimes you get into those cravings, and those cravings end up being so loud, and you're stressed and frustrated because you keep saying, no, 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 you can't have that, you can't have that. All the while you're upset, you're frustrated, your stress is rising, and your angst, you're in turmoil. And yet if you would just say, you know what, one bite of chocolate will give me that soothing moment that I need, and it's not going to throw the entire thing off. One carb is not going to destroy all of the work I've done. You give yourself that permission, and you stop denying yourself that self-care and that soothing moment that you need, and you suddenly find that things are so much better. The stress melts off, and you're more present in your day because you're not focusing on the I can't. You're finally giving yourself permission to have that soothing self-care moment that you need. How about taking a break? We get so caught up in being successful and achieving all of these things that we need to do throughout the day, and serving other people and taking care of all of their needs. And we're going and doing and pushing so hard, and you keep telling yourself, I can't take a break. I can't take a break because if I take a break, then that's not going to get done. And in reality, if you decided to stop and give yourself a break, you will be more productive after that break because you gave yourself what you needed. You tuned into your own needs, and that gift rejuvenates you enough that you can dive in and be even better afterwards. How has saying you can't do that contributed to your own upset and challenges? How has denying yourself the very thing that you know you need contributed to stress, anxiety, and upset in your life? If you stop and think about it, it might be that you start turning that I can't that is causing you so much turmoil into an I can, and life will completely shift. It doesn't mean you've decided to binge. It doesn't mean you've decided to waste the afternoon. It means you've decided to give yourself a gift. That I can, it's okay. The permission shifts everything into a much easier, smoother moment.